tree is a cone made from chicken wire, which was not very easy to work with, but it did provide a nice stable um, base. So after I made the cone, I lined the inside of it with paper towel because I thought I needed something to keep the soil or the growing media inside the cone. I thought the paper towel would be ideal because then I can pierce it to place the cuttings inside and build up my tree. So after making the cone, I lined it with a paper towel, which was quite challenging until I, I developed the technique of holding the towel almost diagonally and then placing it in the cone and then expanding it out. I chose to use cocoa as the growing media because it's nice and light. It also retains moisture really well and will provide a good base for these succulents to grow into. I did face a few challenges when I filled up the cone with the soil and I had to take it down a few times because the soil was falling back down into the cone and not reaching the top layer properly. So that took a bit of maneuvering, but we got there in the end. And then it was time for me to place in my succulents. So I used a normal chopstick and I sprayed the paper towel a bit to make it wet. And then it was simply, just put a hole inside and place in my cuttings where I want them to be. And I think for a first attempt, this is really good. In hindsight, I would have probably wanted it to be more pointy at the top, but I'm going to see if I can't put something in here to make it more pointy and give the idea of a Christmas tree. And what was also funny is I ran out of cuttings twice. So like the first time I quickly had to go down to the garden and see if there's not anything I can use. And the second time I actually went outside to the balcony to collect some more. So I think it's good if you're going to attempt this project to really start with a lot of cuttings. And now I even have some ZZ plant cuttings in my tree, which is fine because ZZ plants also like well draining soil. So if they root in here, it should be fine. But now I must just be careful with the sunlight because of course ZZ plants don't like direct sunlight. But inside the tree will not get any direct sun anyway, just nice bright light to keep the succulents happy. I chose a nice white terracotta base, but obviously you can use any base that you want. And there's also soil in here, so my tree is fully anchored into the base and I don't have to worry about it toppling over. And with time now, the succulents will root into the tree, and yeah, it will really keep it nice and stable. I added some Spanish moss around the tree to cover up any patches where I could still see the paper towel, and I think that I think it gives a nice effect. It almost has the effect of tinsel on a normal tree. So to care for this tree past the festive season, you would want to water it from the top and let the water go down into the center. You would obviously want to keep it on the dry side and not over-water it because these are succulents. But depending on where you keep your tree, if you keep your tree in direct sunlight, then obviously it would need to be watered more often. But then if your tree is not in direct sunlight, just be aware that it still needs nice bright light, otherwise your succulents can become very leggy and spoil the look of your tree. So going forward, I will obviously have to keep them trimmed. But the great thing about succulents is that if they grow out leggy, you simply take it out and replace it with a new, fresh, smaller cutting. And I think Coca-Cola is really the best medium to use because normal potting soil can be very heavy, and if you water it, it could come out the sides because sand will be heavy. So I like the idea of Coca-Cola. I actually also thought of sphagnum moss, but the problem is that sphagnum moss really um, it remains too wet for too long. So I decided against using sphagnum moss. And next year I will do this again, and I will try to perfect it and tweak it to really get it looking even better. And it's also important to note that when doing this or when attempting this project, you can use whatever succulent you have. I mean, I have a whole mixture here. I even have some zigzag cactus in here. There's a jade plant, there's normal echeverias. Like I said, even some ZZ plant cuttings. Yeah, so you can really use whatever you have available to make your succulent Christmas tree. So I hope that this video has inspired you to attempt to make your own little succulent Christmas tree. If you want to see more videos like these, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to make sure that you never miss any of my future videos. I will see you in the next video, and happy holidays. Bye.